This video is all about the key differences of living in Tennessee versus living in California, so stay tuned. What's up, y'all? I'm Rachael Hadidsaz. I'm a realtor with Crylike in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I post new videos every week about all things real estate and life in the Murfreesboro area and beyond. Are you thinking of moving to Tennessee from California and wondering what to expect? Or maybe you're moving from Tennessee to California. You're going to want to know the key differences of living in each state. Before we get started, make sure to drop it in the comments where you're moving to and from. To get the inside information on living in California, I'm calling on my friend and fellow real estate agent in Pasadena, California, Brandon Blankenship. When you get ready to relocate from California to Tennessee, give us a call and we're going to help make this transition as smooth as possible. It's really scary and overwhelming moving from one state to another, and that's why you want a team of professional agents behind you to make it as smooth as possible. Our contact information is down in the description, as well as the link to Brandon's YouTube channel, where you can find additional information on living in or moving from California. All right, thanks for joining us today, Brandon. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Rachel. I'm excited to do this video. I've noticed a lot of people moving out of California to states like Tennessee, especially the Murfreesboro, Nashville area. So I'm excited to do this video.
Awesome. Thanks. I'm excited as well. It's just a crazy time that we're living in these days, and I've seen a lot of people from California really coming here because of the weather. And maybe even the wildfires, maybe not necessarily being directly affected, but they're smelling the pollution and things like that. So that was one thing that I wanted to talk with you right off the bat is just the weather. What is it like living with the wildfire so close to your backyard, and as well as the earthquakes?
Right. Yeah, I mean, in California and Southern California, the weather is tremendous. But obviously, with great things in the world, there's obviously a lot of negatives. And wildfires, earthquakes, they're not the most fun things to be in. I live in Pasadena, like you said, specifically Sierra Madre, which is a town just east of it. And the Mount Wilson Mountains are right north of me. And I saw the fires. It was kind of insane. And we had an earthquake maybe 2 weeks ago when the fires were going on. So the air quality is definitely horrible. There's ashes everywhere in everyone's car. It's orange outside at like all times of the day, especially the morning. It's not the most fun to be in, especially there's a lot of people that live in the canyons, so north of me. They're getting evacuated. And I remember last July 4th, there was a huge earthquake. It definitely shocks you, especially me being from the Midwest. I usually never experience those things. Mm-hmm. But besides that, the weather here in Southern California is absolutely amazing. Like right now, it's probably low 80s and sunny. It's great. It's great weather for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a huge driving factor of people that want to get out there is for that just beautiful weather all the time. And I know people, here in Tennessee, we do have 4 distinct seasons. Right now, we're in the middle of fall, hence my beautiful fall tree foliage in the background. This is kind of what you might expect in Tennessee if you're in a more mountainous part of the state. Is just the beautiful fall colors. But of course, one thing to address with the weather in Tennessee, a lot of people want to know about the tornadoes. Mm-hmm. And they're incredibly severe, and they really affect the lives of the people that they do impact. But the likelihood of statistically being in a tornado is very unlikely. I have lived through times where I've had to take shelter because of the threat of a tornado in the area.
Wow.
Generally, if you are in a building that's built with like cinder blocks, like if you're in a school, you're in a hospital, those are probably some of the safest places to be in. Mm-hmm. If you're in a home, you're going to want to shelter in place in the lowest floor of the home in a room, preferably with no windows. And then you just cover your head until the storm has passed. If you're in a mobile home, things like that are not on a foundation, you'll need to find a storm shelter or a neighbor that has a home on a foundation to take cover in. But I just try to assure people that I've lived in Tennessee my whole life and I've never been in a tornado. You just have to have a plan in place.
Right, for sure. Have you ever experienced one?
I've never been in one directly. I've just
Mhm.
been in really, really severe weather where there was a threat of a tornado, but nothing that, you know, there were no trees that fell on my house. My house was fine. I know people that have lived through things in a tornado, and they are very devastating.
Right,
But
that's great.
it's just, I just always encourage people have a plan in place and know
Hmm.
where you're going to be sheltering.
Hmm.
But I know that the weather here is still very beautiful. Other than the severe weather, we still have the 4 distinct seasons.
Hmm.
September and October, like where we're filming this video right now in October. This is my favorite time of the year in Tennessee. It's just off that heat wave from the summer, getting into cooler temperatures in the mornings, but it's still really nice during the day. And go out and visit a pumpkin patch or something. Which
No,
brings
that's
me to my second question. I wanted to ask you about kind of some things to do in California because I'm sure there's a lot of differences.
Yeah, so for sure. I mean, so I live just east of Los Angeles for people that don't know where Pasadena is that are watching this video. I'm originally from Chicago, so there's a lot of stuff to do in that city as well. But when I moved out here to LA, Southern California specifically, Southern California is so big that it's kind of crazy. There's so much to do here, whether it be, all the sports teams. You got the Lakers, you got the Dodgers. Lakers just won the finals, and the Dodgers just made the World Series. You have the Clippers, Rams, great college sports, the Rose Bowl. I mean, there's just a lot of amazing things out here to do in Southern California, and with the weather being so nice all year round, it gives a lot of people the opportunity to go outside every single day and enjoy all those outdoor activities. Personally, for me, I just like going to the beach. I like going to a lot of foodie spots. There's a lot of great food here in Southern California, Los Angeles specifically. So yeah, those are the main things that I personally like, and what I do know that a lot of people that were born and raised here in Los Angeles, Southern California, truly love about living here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned about the sports teams because even if you're coming from California to Tennessee, we have a really thriving sports life here. Obviously, there's football. We have the Tennessee Titans, and we also have a really strong college football teams in our area. I went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, so the Volunteers are always a team that people will watch. Vanderbilt is also a team that people want to watch. And you wouldn't think of it, but Nashville has a really awesome hockey team, the Nashville Predators. We actually made it to the Stanley Cup a couple of years ago and trying to get out there again, but we got a lot of hockey fans in Nashville. Additionally, we just got a soccer team in Nashville, the Nashville Soccer Club. So there's tons of sports to do nearby, as well as just the state parks. I love going to parks. You can enjoy hiking, kayaking, fishing, camping in Tennessee. Just huge activities here. And Tennessee is also rich with history. We have museums all over, historical sites that you can check out. And during the summertime, you may want to check out a water park. One of my favorites is in Nashville, the Nashville Shores.
That's awesome.
And another thing with things to do is that I mentioned with the state parks. I wanted to talk about just the scenic beauty because I think that each state is really beautiful in their own way. So can you tell us about some of the most beautiful places in California to visit?
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm big into beaches and stuff like that, and California has some great beaches, whether it be Santa Monica, Malibu, Venice. You head all the way down south. You can head down to San Diego. You can head out to Orange County, which has Newport Beach and stuff like that. And I think those beaches are absolutely beautiful all year round. In between SoCal and NorCal, you have a lot of great national parks, hiking, mountains and stuff like that. So nature lovers, I've noticed that a lot of people do enjoy that stuff. I'm not a big backpacker, but I have a lot of friends that are into backpacking. Yosemite is probably 5 hours, 6 hours for me. I know a lot of people love that. There are a lot of good trails by me too. Something pretty touristy is that a lot of people like hiking the Hollywood sign. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of great scenery here. It's really never cloudy. Only really in June. There's something called the June gloom, where it's
Interesting.
usually cloudy till about early afternoon, probably about like 12 or 1 p.m. And it's so interesting because it looks like it's going to rain, which it never rains here in Southern California. It looks like it's going to rain, but it never does. And then all of a sudden it becomes super sunny. And, it's just great. I mean, the weather, sunny year round.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I feel like that's why a lot of people love living out here in Southern California.
Yes. I would love to visit. I've never even been out there, but I want to visit the beaches. I'm so used to, like I said, I've lived in Tennessee my whole life, and Tennessee is basically a hardwood forest. So and it's beautiful. There's beautiful trees everywhere. We have lots of just lakes, creeks, and waterfalls. So if you do want to enjoy the beauty of the water, you can just enjoy it in a different way.
Mhm.
We have over 50 state parks within the state of
Wow.
Tennessee in East, Middle, and West Tennessee. And we also have some national parks, the most well known being the Great Smoky Mountains National Park there in East Tennessee. Um,
That's crazy.
yeah, I mean, when you're coming to Tennessee, you're, a lot of people are coming because they want that scenic beauty.
Right, of course.
And speaking of moving to Tennessee, I know just kind of we talk about it, the elephant in the room.
Mhm.
A lot of people move to Tennessee just to get to a more affordable housing
Right.
situation. What can you tell us about living in California? Like the
Right.
cost of a maybe 3 bedroom, 2 bath?
Right. So, specifically where I live in like the West San Gabriel Valley, so east of Los Angeles, like the Pasadena area, typically a 3 bed, 2 bath, if you're looking for about 1,500 square feet, is probably $1 million, depending on the neighborhood, which is kind of crazy.
Mhm.
Um, Especially with right now with being COVID, a lot of us thought the market would kind of slow down, prices would kind of drop down a little bit. But it's totally the opposite here. I'm pretty sure you can attest to that as well, Rachel. But here in Southern California, there are homes that are getting, 50 plus offers are on them, 100K over. It's crazy market right now.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I definitely noticed a lot of people relocating out of Southern California. I have some colleagues that are up in NorCal that are real estate agents as well. And what they've noticed is that a lot of the people that are working in these big tech companies, they're able to work from home now, and they're keeping their salary like how they were in the office. And some of these companies are giving their employees the opportunity to move out of state right now and still
Wow.
keep that salary. So a lot of people are taking advantage of that. I've noticed up in NorCal. I definitely think that NorCal has a lot more people relocating um,
Okay.
out of California than SoCal. But here in SoCal, there are a lot of people relocating out of here as well. But yeah, prices, yeah, it's definitely drastic when you call affordable housing. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. I think from the time we did our first video, I believe our average cost of a 3 bedroom, 2 bath has actually gone up a little bit just
right,
because of the low inventory that we're experiencing. I think our markets are similar in that we are seeing a strong seller's market with low inventory and
right.
multiple offers typically on homes.
Hmm.
But I've seen our price of a 3 bedroom, 2 bath here rise to closer to 300,000. So it's still, lower cost of housing, but
Right,
I tell people to keep in mind that Tennessee, our median income is also a lot lower. So there are several factors that
right,
you do need to factor into with the cost of housing and just see what your pros and cons are there with all the other factors that we're mentioning in this video.
right,
And that brings me to, I guess, the final point of comparison, which is just the employment outlook and the local economy.
right.
Um, how has your local economy fared through COVID as compared to prior to COVID?
Right. I mean, a lot of small businesses definitely got hit really hard. I'm a big advocate for the community, so I know like a lot of the local communities and local small businesses around me. A lot of them have definitely got affected by COVID. I know there was a loan out. I forgot the name of it for small businesses. I believe it was like SBB or something like that, something along those lines. But I know a lot of these small businesses weren't getting approved for them for some reason. So a lot of them been going underwater and stuff like that. But there are a lot of people that are still working here. Especially I'm not gonna get political, but with the election coming up, it's gonna affect the economy for the good or the worse. We can't really tell right now, but I mean, that's something we're watching for the next few months. I think right now, when it comes to the economy, and we're talking about the real estate market, is that interest rates are still significantly historically low. I'm pretty sure it's the same for Tennessee as well. Same for everywhere. So I mean, when you have the correlation between low interest rates and low supply of inventory when it comes to homes, that's definitely what skyrockets it.
Right.
And people are definitely realizing now, being in their homes, like what they actually want. People people don't really know what they know what they want now. Maybe some people didn't have a yard at first, and now they're like, oh, we have the equity in our homes, we can get the house. Or, oh, we have the equity in our home, we can sell here, move to Tennessee, pay cash, and get everything we want and more without affecting our salary. So that's just kind of how I see our economy right now here. So yeah.
And I apologize. We've got a friend here. My son is homesick today. We're going to a doctor in a couple of hours, so I appreciate you taking our call. Just to kind of, remark on that, the local economy is that Tennessee had a really strong economy prior to COVID.
Right.
And of course, we have been hit by the pandemic, just like every other state has. But we have more corporate jobs versus restaurant and tourism. So while the small business owners have certainly been impacted, and definitely the tourism in areas like Gatlinburg and East Tennessee, those have been affected. But overall, Tennessee does have a strong economy, and I'm confident that we're going to bounce back. The housing market is, of course, incredibly strong here.
Right.
Just the historic low inventory, people are still buying. So I'm feel pretty positive about the state of things and just the recovery from the pandemic.
Right. 100%. Cool.
Due to our interstate system, I wanted to say just our geographic location that attracts many corporations and warehouses to locate within Tennessee. Geographically, we're just a day's drive to about 75% of the country. Just here in Middle Tennessee, Amazon is really big, as well as Nissan, other auto parts company, Rooms to Go, eBay, Under Armour are here in the area. Certainly, again, with the pandemic, some of our tourism industries have suffered, but visits to our state parks is actually up during COVID.
Right.
So 2020, the silver lining is that it's just been a great year to reconnect with nature and the great outdoors. Our governor, he's a business owner himself. So if you're a business owner, Tennessee is a great state to live in.
Right. And I've definitely noticed that. I mean, a lot of these big corporations, I mean, Elon Musk took Tesla out of California and moved it all the way out to Texas, I believe. And if you go on YouTube and you just type in the two words leaving California, you'll see a long list of entrepreneurs, business owners, news, like giving their reasoning for leaving California. And while there's a lot of people leaving California every single year, there's also a good influx of, people coming back. So
yes.
I mean, it's definitely, no state is perfect at the end of the day. I guess it really just comes down to the lifestyle you enjoy and what makes you happy, really.
Yes. I think there are pros and cons to each state.
Right. I think California, there's a lot of things that make people happy here, living here. But there's obviously a ton of things that people really dislike that, give them the urge to move to other states. And there's a lot of things that Tennessee has to offer. I've never visited yet, but I definitely want to, especially I want to get some Nashville hot chicken. So
yes, we'll have you down. Brandon. You'll come to my neck of the woods.
Cool. Well, I do appreciate you having me on here, Rachel.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course. It was great.
Just for our viewers out there, if you want more content related to living in or moving from California, go ahead, head on over to Brandon's channel. I've left the link down in the description. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I post a new video. I've got so much more to tell you about life in Murfreesboro, the Tennessee area, and beyond. So I'll see you at the next video.
See ya.